devastated his father died before their annual Super Bowl party. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice. We're going to mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you. Good to see you, Jamie.
Good to see you, Adam.
And Jamie's got a podcast. Jamie's also got some dates coming up. And this Saturday, a few tickets left for the second show, Levity Live. That's in Oxnard. I played there a couple of weeks back. Good club, good place to hang out. I'm curious what sort of the Fox Gutfeld bump is doing for you, because let's just sort of break it down this way. Mm-hmm. There was a time not too long ago where popping up on Fox was detrimental.
That's right.
So your agent would say, don't do that show. Don't be associated with this. Don't do a series with Rob Schneider, so on and so forth, which is funny, by the way. And Jamie's great on. Now it's the worm has turned.
Yep.
It's a new world order, and these guys are all getting a bump off of Fox.
Yeah, it's been because remember it was the big three. It was like you could do one of the late shows, and that was it. And then when we were on Gutfeld, we would get that, like, friends of mine would go, man, I can't believe you go on there. Like, aren't you afraid? Because the other ones are so left leaning. And then all of a sudden, one day after 20 years of Gutfeld's kind of started 20 years ago with a show called Red Eye, and then I think because the world has changed, he's beating all those shows in the ratings, and now I got those same friends going, hey, could you introduce me to Gutfeld?
Right. Conservative people got funny.
But it is completely changed. Like, I've been doing comedy for a long time. Like, I did the Tonight Show in 2001. I did the series on Netflix. But you know how you never know what's going to translate to people buying tickets? Like, I thought, I'm doing this Netflix show. Like, 3 people each night would come from the show. But Gutfeld people really come out. And it is... I feel like it's the place where you can say whatever you want without they don't edit you at all. You can say whatever you want. People kind of come out, and I admit my crowd's a little bit older, a little bit of an older crowd. Like
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like last night there was Comedy Magic last night, Comedy Magic Club, and there's an 80-year-old guy in the front row, and he was laughing at all my jokes. It made me feel really good. And then right in the middle of the show, his phone alarm went off. And 60 people took their pills. Like, it is, and it's not. Older crowds are great, man, because you can be as offensive as you want. They can't walk out if they want to. Like, it is physically impossible. But it's been a game changer, man, for real.
I agree, and I don't think people know how loose it is over at Gutfeld and how it sounds so insane when you know things, like when people are trying to throw a little shade your way and they go, you're taking your marching orders with your talking points, with your Fox talking points. It's like no one ever tells you what to say, and they don't even ask you what you're gonna say.
They do not.
They just go, here's some stuff we may talk about.
That's right.
Say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's never been discussed. So the thing that's always funny is when people go, hammering checks over at Fox and parroting their talking points. Like, well, A, no checks.
Right. Exactly.
You don't get paid.
Exactly.
And number 2, no one tells you what to say. But other than that, you're 100% accurate in your critique of showing up on Fox.
Yeah, and I get a lot just from if I post a clip and it's a joke about my ex-wife or something, people will be like, Trumper. Like, it's just because of that little Fox label. Because like you said, I don't feel like on there. I know that everyone's probably that day already said all the important things about all the important topics. And so when I go on, Greg just lets you do jokes.
Yeah.
You can say anything you want. Like, to your point, you don't have to, not only do you not have to toe the party line, you can say anything you want in any direction and they have no idea what you're going to say. There's no send us the things ahead of time. Nothing.
Yeah.
You show up.
There's no pre-interview.
Yeah.
Late night shows do pre-interviews, which is always my favorite humiliating part of the business.
Yeah.
Because, and I haven't done one in a million years, but they used to do pre-interviews and it would always be the same. The guy'd call you the day before and you go, what's going on? Got some family stories, summer vacations? And you go, yeah, pretty funny story. We rented a catamaran, but I didn't know what a catamaran was, and it turned out to be a much different boat than I thought. And they go, what else you got? I go, well, you had to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, what else you got? And I go, no, I'm going to say it. I'll do it in a funny way. And they go, yeah. What else you got? And you're like, okay. So then you're on the phone with the segment producer and you're trying to make them laugh, but you don't really have the bit worked out.
Right.
But it's a horrible experience.
Humiliation.
It's
ritual.
humiliating. Yes.
And you're right. The segment producer is never. They never have a good sense of humor.
No.
And it's not a crowd, which you're going to be out there telling the story and hearing the. It's always like the worst guy. They get the worst guy.
So Gutfeld is so casual that you find yourself standing backstage and you go, when is the show starting? They go, 14 minutes. And you go, Tyrus isn't here, is he?
Yeah.
He's probably somewhere. No one's wrangling anybody.
No.
People are staring at their phone. No one's mic'd up. And you're like, we're starting. Are we starting? Yeah.
I remember, because they don't even have, when you do the Tonight Show or something, they go, at 8:11, you're in hair and makeup. At 8:13, we're going to give you a ready in 1 minute. And Gutfeld, just the other day, I go, can I get makeup? And they go, yeah, sure. We're about to go on. And I go, can I jump in there? There's no, I go, the world can't see my real face. I got to get in there.
Well, no, let me explain something. There's a part of life which is things you need, and then there's a part of life which is things you need because other people are doing it, and you need to counteract what they're doing or keep up with what they're doing. Meaning, you don't really need a publicist in this business, but you do need a publicist because other people have publicists, and now they're going to work on behalf of their client. And I remember, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but Rebecca Gayheart, the model from the 90s and the 2000s who showed up in a Tarantino movie. She played the wife of the stuntman of Brad Pitt who shot her with a spear gun.
Yeah.
A million years ago. I don't know why. I brought some archival tapes in to be whatever, and I saw Killborn 2000. And I did Killborn show a million times. And one time, they loved me, and I was always a first guest. And they were like, Rebecca Gayhart's going to go on first. And I go, really? Because she's a Noxzema model. Right. You know what I mean? I go, why is she going on first? And it's like, she's going on first because she has a publicist, and the publicist also represents John Stamos. And the publicist said, unless you put Rebecca Gayheart on first, then. So I don't need a publicist, but I kind of do now because I have to fight with Rebecca Gayhart's publicist. Yeah. And you don't need makeup, but when someone is sitting next to you and wearing makeup, then you need makeup. Exactly. And you don't have to get your teeth whitened, except for when the two people sitting next to you got their teeth whitened. Now you need to get your teeth whitened. That's how life works.
And I wish we could just all agree to not do it.
No makeup, no teeth whitening, and no publicist.
None of us.
It's all just an even playing field.
Yeah.
That's right. We're back to...
We're all ugly together with no publicist.
We're getting back to equality, bro.
Yeah. You're right about that thing with publicists where they use the leverage of the good clients. Right? They do the leverage.
They have one guy that they'll never deliver.
That's right.
But they say
in the back pocket
that they represent Bruce Springsteen,
the ball.
And then they go, like to book Jared from Subway on after his parole. And you go, well, I don't think that's a direction we want to go here at The View.
Hey, you want Springsteen or
you
not?
want the boss?
Yeah.
But the boss is never delivered.
Yeah, he's not even signed by them.
Yeah.
They just have his headshot on the website.
I had a manager that represented Tom Green he was my manager and Jimmy Kimmel's manager, and he represented Tom Green at the height of his powers, right? Mm-hmm. And he also represented Tom Bergeron's brother who did a talk show out of Quebec or something. And he was like, we got to book Danny Bergeron on Loveline, and we're like, I don't know, that's not really... You want Tom Green? Mm-hmm. This is our own representation.
Right.
He never delivered Tom Green. That's our guy didn't do it. So don't think some unknown publicist is ever going to deliver the boss. All right. So it's fast, it's loose, it's good. I think that's why it works. I've wondered many, many times in every one of these talk shows why the segment producer comes back before the show. You know, when I did Ellen, it's a panicked guy going, "You're not going to talk about beef, are you? Don't bring up meat. Just don't." And it's like, okay, making me tense is not the way to get a good... I used to host shows. I would just go to the green room and I'd go, say whatever you want, do whatever you want. We'll have fun out there. And I would leave. I wouldn't go like, don't talk about, you know. And it makes for a much more relaxed and better product.
Yeah, and isn't it? I feel like it's so much about mindset, like right before you go on something like that. Gutfeld producers are amazing. And I mean, I've been on, I think last week was my 130th. So like friends of mine now.
Really?
But they're in your ear during the show the whole time. And sometimes, like when someone's subbing in somebody new, they talk to you during your bits. Like they go, "Hey, we got to get out. And you're like, I am in the middle of a joke." But at Gutfeld, they're so good at like timing that sometimes, you know, they go from one guest, you do your little thing, go to the next, and then you're kind of done till they go through everybody. Yeah. They do this thing now, and it's my favorite thing, where I got a guy in my ear and he goes, "Hey, dude, do one more joke." Because whenever he stops talking, do one more. And he's in your ear. It's almost like the opposite of providing stress. It's like this, they go like, "Hey, you got one more?" And you go, "All right, you get to jump in."
My guy just keeps repeating the word red rum.
Yeah.
That is rum. That's not helpful.
Red rum. And I'm talking about Biden. Red rum.
That doesn't help at all.
No, unhelpful. So you got a better guy than me.
Byron, we're going to have to talk about that.
Stop yelling red rum. No, I meant when I'm doing Gutfeld. All right, joke's over. Joke's over. All right. So 60 Minutes is interesting. So I used to be a diehard 60 Minutes watcher, and then they became compromised. Now, you've heard me use the term compromised, and I told you I used it very early on in 2000, maybe June of 2000, when Fauci got brought in front of Congress. He got asked a couple of questions. He sort of said you couldn't go to a ballpark or a church, but Black Lives Matter marches were fine in terms of crowds. And then I just watched it and I went, compromised. And now I don't have to listen to things he says anymore.
Yep.
Which doesn't mean he's going to be wrong about everything. Once I label you compromised, which he was, I labeled him in June of 2020, compromised. I think now we figured out he is compromised, but I said it back then and everyone looked at me and said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, well, he won't condemn Black Lives Matter rallies.
Yep.
So, but he will condemn every other rally and every other gathering. So he's now compromised. I don't have to listen. So 60 Minutes, I labeled as compromised a while back. They've been kind of floating toward the left for 30 years, but they've been moving incrementally, sort of at a glacier-esque speed, so you didn't really notice what was going on. But when Leslie Stahl was arguing with Trump about the laptop, saying it couldn't be proven, I was like, okay, well, she's compromised. The show's compromised. So then I would stop getting information from them because they are compromised. And the latest one with the Kamala Harris interview is definite. It's definitely compromised. But I'll juxtapose it to. I was listening to Alyssa Milano's podcast, and I got a clip from that. But I'll play you. I guess we'll play it. Well, you know what? Let's play Alyssa Milano first.
And he was just horrible.
Hold. You don't have to. Just hold on. This is. Feel good? Okay, I'll cue you. No, it's weird. I designed the studio. I put one long window in and one regular size window in, and then there's a blind spot of 24 inches, and that's where everyone stays. Like when you go visit the reptiles at the zoo, and you go, "Where's the alligators?" He's under the log in the back.
Dude,
like,
why at a zoo do they have an animal-sized object in the thing? Why do they have a bear-sized rock in the bear exhibit? He's behind it.
He's behind
He's
it.
hiding behind there.
I feel the way at the reptile hut.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
hut.
When it's like it's a green tree snake, and then all it is green trees,
Yeah.
and he's blending in, and I can't find him.
I forever have been really rallying towards transparent obstacles at the zoo.
Oh,
right?
that's
So it's
that's
not
my
green,
cause.
It's a see-through.
Yeah. My cause is nothing. My cause is just when I go see the tree snake, I just want a white background and lose sight in the front.
Yeah.
Well, you think the snake doesn't know where he is? You think she's in the rainforest?
2001 Space Odyssey snake.
There's only one thing you do at the zoo. You look at the animals.
You look at
Why
the
would they
animals.
put a green thing around a green guy?
It's
And
Makes
also,
sense.
as I've said, the snake knows he's not in his environment because he has a lesbian with khaki shorts hand feeding him dead crickets every day.
That
which
doesn't happen in the jungle.
Doesn't happen. Okay, hold on. Rarely happens in the wild.
yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine if a snake from a zoo was hanging out with a snake from the jungle and he's like, "What do you do when that lesbian comes in?" And the real snake's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah. All right. So, Alyssa Milano gave this. She basically said, "I hate Trump, and we could have had Kamala." But here's her description of Kamala.
And he was just horrible. He was just a horrible person, mean, not only policy-wise, but just in his leadership qualities. He was just that asshole guy. And we knew it this time. Not only did we know it this time, but we had the option to vote for the first Black woman who was qualified, a leader through service, brilliant. She was going to protect human rights, all of the things. And yet, people voted for.
All right. Well, weird at it.
Trump.
Sound a little bit AI, like they made up. Alyssa
Anyway,
Milano.
she was a brilliant, experienced leader. All right, so let's see how she answered the question of immigration that they cut out of 60 Minutes, by the way. They took the edit, they took the interview that Kamala did, and they made it look much more flattering to Kamala, which, would they ever have done that with Trump? No. And if the answer is no, then that means they're compromised. Mm-hmm. But I'm calling my own out on this one. We have this one. Don't we have this one? All right, anyway, this is Jesse Waters showing it the other night.
Here's an answer that never made air. Watch.
I'm trying to understand how it is that with this emphasis on the border, the numbers of crossings quadrupled under the first 3 years of the Biden-Harris administration. How did that happen?
There are a variety of factors that relate to what we have seen globally and what we are not immune from at our own border in terms of what we have seen in terms of surge of immigration and irregular migration. And there are solutions at hand, but we've got to have leaders who are solution-oriented, which we've been and are.
All right.
Can I ask you a favor?
All right.
CBS
That's good.
also-
That's all we need. Okay.
Can I ask you guys a
Edit
favor?
it, right? Yeah.
I have if I ever have 60 Minutes to live, could you play this episode so it seemed longer? Holy, that was painful, right?
All right. But according to Alyssa Milano, we had a brilliant choice.
Right.
Now, I don't know what it is about the nonsense word salad double talk that's attractive in today's society, but there's something going on. And I don't know if it's people are distracted by staring at their phone all the time. This feels painful, distracting, and unhelpful in any way to me. Mm-hmm. To others, it feels satisfying and invigorating.
I didn't hear. She didn't really say anything.
Well, she said the people in power got to do something, and then her brain went, "Oh shit, we're in power," and so she did a quick sort of backtrack on that. She's like the people because all. It's like when Gavin Newsom showed up out here once, and he stood in front of the train tracks, and people were looting Amazon boxes off trains and ripping them open, and causing huge piles of junk. And he walked in, and he stood there, and he went, "What's going on around here?" And it's like, "What's going on around here?" Yes. Well, that's what we want to know. Mm-hmm. You're in charge.
The guy.
You're the guy. You want to know what's going on around here. You can watch her brain, Byron. You just jump in about 15 seconds in, but watch her brain when she goes, it's going to take leadership. And then she's like, oh, shit. That's
We're the
us.
leaders.
Yeah.
To what we have seen globally and what we are not immune from at our own border in terms of what we have seen in terms of surge of immigration and irregular migration. And there are solutions at hand, but we've got to have leaders who are solution-oriented, which we've been and are.
Which we've been in an addendum.
Also, she doesn't say anything. And look, you may like her and you may like the idea of a black woman and you may like the idea of the first African American who's mostly Indian or grew up in that culture or whatever. You may have bunches of these ideas. But there still has to be a part of you that realizes she doesn't say anything. And then I also realize there's something attractive about the talkers. Like, and it's new and it's scary. So they hate Trump because Trump's the opposite. Trump's like, here's what we're doing. Here we go. Let's do it. And then there's Karen Bass who just goes, we got to move forward, but we have to move forward with dignity and we have to move forward with safety and we have to move forward with an eye toward the future or whatever. And nothing ever happens. But then I realized my mom was kind of hippy-dippy that way. And her whole plan was to just sort of talk things into the ground and then eventually you just give up. And that was about it. It's this weird new concept that is the opposite of leadership, but it's satisfying. And it's kind of chick-oriented where they just like, let's just talk about this thing forever. And there's plenty of guys who engage it. Gavin Newsom engages in it. And nothing changes. Nothing gets better. Nothing gets fixed. And then at some point they want to report and they want to find out, and then they say things like, we want to get to the root causes and systemic, and when we get to the root migration causes, and she took a trip to the triangle and the northern triangle to find out the root causes of that. But there's never anything that ever comes of it. So it's just basically like you going, I got a leaky roof. And I go, you know what? I'm going to assemble a team and we're going to go up to that roof.
We got to get rid of the water.
And we're going to find out the root causes of what's going on. And and then I come back down and we have a long discussion about it. And then you go, it's going to rain this weekend. And I go, first off, I have a roof. And so I understand what you're going through. I have children, one special needs. He has a roof. As well. I'm going to put together a blue ribbon panel. And we're going to talk about roofing and we're going to write up a report. And we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I know your house.
No
being
shingles
destroyed.
are ever laid down. No fucking hot mop ever appears. No Henry's waterproof roofing compound. No flashing. No cleaning out. No scuppers. No nothing. Nothing ever happens. We just continuously talk about it. And then at some point, I run for county roofer. And then you say to me, what are you doing with roofing? And I go, I'm glad you asked. And I use your name.
Yep.
I'm glad, Jamie. Glad.
Yeah, it's like I know.
I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah, and I know your couch is getting covered with water and it's ruining your floor. But there's solutions.
I too have
at
a
hand.
couch.
There's solutions at hand.
I have a special needs job with a couch. Do you know that?
I did not.
Now, what it's going to take is everyone coming together.
Yeah.
And fixing that roof safely.
Yep.
Everyone needs a seat at the table. And I've been wanting to fix it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to fix it, but I can't get. We've made a lot of progress in roofing. And I've been wanting to fix this.
A bucket under every hole.
That's right.
Trump hates roofs. You know what I mean? He hates them. Doesn't want anything up there.
Yeah, if his world, he would remove all the roofing.
All the roofs.
And you would all drown in your own living room because he's angry at roofs. Yeah. And he's just mad. He's angry. Yeah. He's a roofist.
He's anti-shingle.
He's
roofist. Oh my
I think too,
God.
like whenever they go, I got angry when Obama said that, he basically said, you guys didn't vote for Kamala because she's a woman. He basically said, which I think is almost the exact same thing is when your friend hits on a girl at a nightclub and she goes, I'm not interested. And he's like, lesbian.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. Like you're like, no, she doesn't not like guys. She doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Like you gotta bring more to the table than just that.
Yeah. Although with me, it's almost always a lesbian, you know. But I get your I get your buddies, Jamie. Those are your buddies. But yeah, with me it is. But yeah, I know. I get the example.
Yeah, I remember a lot of strippers actually fell in love with you, which is really rare. You know?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, well, you know, being on MTV in the 90s and 2000s, you know, that's good stripping. I'd go to strip clubs. My show would be on the TV when I walked in.
Man, that's huge.
That's big. That ranks you above strip club DJ even in terms of pulling tail.
Up there.
He's up there.
But just under bartender.
So, yeah, just under bartender. That's true. So, I don't know why, but I was thinking about it when all the Democrats are going nuts with like Elon, which is always funny. He's like trying to trim money, and they're up there screaming about marching in the streets and fight. You know, they do this weird. It's weird thing to see like Chuck Schumer and the rest of the 77-year-olds holding their canes in the air, yelling "fight!" You know what I mean? Like fight. Win. Yeah, you can barely make it down a flight of stairs without assistance. How much street fighting are we actually going to do here? You know, but they're all super agitated. They're all super fired up. And they're yelling at a group of dumb, unemployable people because the only people who can go to rallies are unemployable people because where's the rally? It's downtown. What time? 1 o'clock. What day? Tuesday. I have a fucking job. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go downtown. So the entire constituency, it's basically like it's the viewers of The View. Unemployed, dumb dingbat.
You're right.
But who else at 11 o'clock is just sitting home, you know, in their fucking sweatpants watching TV?
Right.
I mean, who are you talking to? You're not talking to the gainfully employed. You're not talking to industrious folks that are out there making hay while the sun is shining. You're talking to dingbat chicks who are unemployable. So when they do these rallies, and you could probably find something, Byron, from a couple days ago. Liz Warren was screaming. I think Chuck Schumer was screaming. They're all screaming. Is fired up, you know, and they're screaming. You know, AOC's talking about how dumb Elon is, which is always those angles are always funny. You know what I mean? Like when you pick weird angles. Yeah, I like weird pejorative stuff. Like every once in a while, back to the chicks. Sometimes with chicks, there'll be some hot chick, and their ex will now be dating the hot chick, you know, and then the other chicks will go, she's not even very hot. She's kind of home, and you're like, she's a pig, you know, and then they're like, okay, pick another angle.
Right.
I'm looking at her. She's hot. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're angry, but pick
that's not
an
the right
accurate.
You could probably find a good one.
She's undereducated.
Yeah.
You know, pick something.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Her homemaking skills aren't up to snuff.
Yeah, like, remember when they started going after Trump for mental deficiency? Pick something different.
Right.
When you're comparing directly to Biden. There's probably something better.
Yeah.
Biden cannot make it through, you know, a paragraph on a teleprompter.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like a fat guy and he's getting yelled at by a cage fighter and he's yelling back at the cage fighter, you're fat.
Right.
And it's like that. Yell back, you're dumb.
You're what's the last
drunk.
book you read?
Yeah, right. Something.
Yeah.
Don't pick.
No.
AOC is dumb and Elon's a genius and her angle's he's dumb, which is bad. Like a receding hairline or something. Work something.
Yeah, I love Elon is so smart that I just decided a couple months ago. I just decided all my beliefs are just whatever he thinks. I go, he's so smart. Like,
did
sometimes
you already get the Neuralink?
Yeah, like sometimes he'll go like, I fired this rocket because, and I go, I don't even need it after the because.
Yeah,
just
you did it.
You do it. You're the smartest guy.
Oh, I get granular. I'm like, where should I put this end table, Elon?
Yeah,
like I'll just do whatever you think is a good idea. I'll go with it.
Yeah, you know what weirded me out was his big vision, sincerely, with all the other things he does, is like if the Earth is uninhabitable, we could live on Mars. That's, I think, everyone benefits from somebody really, really smart thinking that way. That's his grand vision. And then when California said he couldn't shoot rockets off, do you remember that? They said he can't shoot his rockets off, and they said...
Coastal Commission.
Yeah, and they cited wildlife. They're afraid the sonic booms will disrupt the wildlife. And, like, I don't mean to sound like, maybe like uncompassionate, but I don't think I care if every once in a while a bear's like, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I don't care. We're going to Mars.
Yeah, it's also that bear's going to hear the sound of a rifle every once in a while.
That's a great point.
And there'll be another feeling after the sound.
That's right.
I get it. I get it. Look, I don't like the nee.
Yes.
Which, God, I can't. Anyway, I got so much stuff to get in. I realized, I can't remember if I was talking about this here or not, but I had this vision of my house made it through the Malibu fire.
Yeah.
But nothing around me made it through. And everything around me is gone. And I realize for the next 11 years, every morning at 7 a.m., I'm going to be laying in bed just hearing,
my God.
Neat,
Oh, my God.
neat. And some guy in a there's going to be a cacophony. It's symphony of bobcats like backing up all at the same time with
my God, you're
flatbed
right.
trucks and scoop loaders. It's just going to be neat.
There's going to be shit parked in the street, like all the equipment.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do altitude training. I'm going to have to get a app that just goes neat. I'll be sitting in my car. I'll be walking around. I'll be doing the podcast neat because I have to acclimate myself to the new world order, which is all backup beepers all the time for the next decade.
You're going to have to get an ambient noise backup truck machine.
Ambient noise backup truck machine. Hop on Amazon. Grab me one.
Yeah.
All right, Byron, I don't know if you have that tape that we're talking about or you're looking for it.
I'm looking for it.
Ooh.
AOC or Chuck Schumer?
Well, I said Chuck Schumer, and I said...
I have Chuck Schumer gassing himself out, yelling.
That's... Yeah, well, but then write it on the screen there, right? We've talked about putting the stuff on the screen maybe a time or two. But I said Liz Warren. But go ahead anyway. We'll watch Chuck get animated.
Man.
on the screen.
Yeah, I saw it. It's pretty pathetic.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. We will win.
Maxine Waters
we will
80.
win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. Thank you, everybody.
Is this guy 77 years old?
God.
It's
All right,
ironic.
so
By the way, he's such a hypocrite. He rested immediately after.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Two reps.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you what this reminds me of. First off, Elon has to be amused by this, right? That these people are spinning out and going nuts and yelling about fighting and won't rest. And, well, you can find Jasmine Crockett. Byron, can you hear me? Yes. And then when you do, then make sure it's represented on this screen that I have in front of me so that I know that you have it. Okay? All right.
I've never seen more people chanting "We won't rest" that are probably resting right now.
That's right.
All those people.
They're saying coup. They're saying that him taking over the treasury is some type of big...
They're working every angle, but the problem is I would much rather have super accomplished smart people looking after my bank account than imbeciles who are angry and maybe corrupt looking after my bank account. But the reason I was yelling about this, and you can find Jasmine Crockett too. It reminds me when they yell, "We're going to take it to the street. We're going to fight. We're not going to rest. You're going to rue the day that you brought this up." Back in the day when we would like roll into Crete or Iraq, somewhere in Iraq or something like that, like the Desert Storm and all that stuff, always some mullah would release a statement, and he would say in it, if you think you're going to take your American military and roll into Iraq, you will feel the swift sword of Allah upon your neck. And then we'd go, Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Now we have an A-10 Warthog with a Gatling gun in it, and it shoots spent uranium, and we'll just come shred your village with it. So and we already know where you are. So anyway, maybe the swift sword of Allah shall fall upon our neck, or maybe we'll just come shred all your Soviet-era 1950s tanks and military equipment with our modern shit, and we'll light you up. And we're so fucking scary that we will end up killing more of our own through friendly fire than you guys kill of us.
Yeah.
That's how fucking scary we are. But anyway, thanks for the heads up about Allah's sword. And they say it, and we just sit around and laugh, right? And go, all right, get the F-16s loaded up with the bunker busters, and let's go smoke this guy. So this feels like that to me. Like, Elon, you better watch it. Because we're coming for you, and he's just got to be sitting home laughing.
Yeah,
right?
have you ever seen those videos on the internet where there's a big muscular guy at a bar, and he's just like, "I'm gonna kick your ass, and you better." But he's talking to an MMA fighter, a slight MMA fighter that is well trained in fight. It reminds me of that, like a guy just talking shit, and the minute it goes down, the guy just knocks him out.
Right, except for this is an elderly guy at a bar with a cane,
exactly,
talking shit. This isn't even a guy with guns talking shit. All right. Oh, we got AOC calling Elon. Well, we'll play Jasmine first, just because it's fun. I like the modern. There's the modern female black politician who are literally unhinged at this point, and I would also like to show it to either our founding fathers or even John Wayne. I'd like to just bring John Wayne up and go, "This is a congressman."
Back
She's
from the
what?
dead.
What? All right, here it is. Sorry, it's funny.
Listen, the final thing to say is there are those that have said that we may face a constitutional crisis. I want you to know that the crisis is here.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to know that the power belongs to the people, though, y'all. Do not feel powerless. In this moment, as the vice president said as she conceded the election, she said, dark times may be ahead of us, but she said it's only in the darkness that we can see the stars. I am telling you right now that the stars are right here. It is time for us to shine. It is time for us to be heard. It is time for us to make sure that they know we will not go.
All right.
By the way, that thing she said about the darkness and stars, they had just asked her how she was going to solve immigration. That was her
She
answer.
said that's yeah. All right. So Doge would like to cut the transgender research fund for the Afghani kids, and she's pretty fucking whipped up about it. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but they're angry.
Who is it? Like, I actually have trouble wrapping my head around. Maybe you can answer it for me. Who's against transparency and saving money and the government spending money more efficiently unless
Okay,
You're on the take. You're on the take.
As soon as Elon bought X, as soon as he bought Twitter, who fucking went nuts?
That's
and you're
right.
like, who's against free speech?
Yeah.
Well, the ones who control the speech are against free speech, and the ones who are controlling the purse strings of government. And then they're going to start finding a bunch of stuff about people getting paid. I mean, they already found Politico was getting paid, and it's all what everyone thought. Every conspiracy that everyone thought of 5 years ago is all true now.
And wait, why are all these people doing a Braveheart speech? Are they about to storm the Capitol again?
They're not doing anything. They're just talking to dumb people and getting camera time. There's nothing they're going to do. There's nothing they can do.
And just as a rule, you should never wave your cane in the air. That's helping you walk. You know what I mean?
You're right.
You got to keep that down.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
Put the walker out front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to lean, lean on something before you wave it. Just saying it's dangerous.
Yeah. And also, waving your cane in the air makes you seem decrepit. You know what I mean?
It's not intimidating.
Yeah. Now, probably the ultimate would be waving a walker in the air, but that would show some dexterity.
That would.
If you bounce it on the bridge of your nose.
That would be.
What happened to people bouncing shit on the bridge of their nose?
People
I
used
feel
to
like
all
I
the
grew
time.
up with that. Like
A ladder?
chair,
Remember a ladder? Yeah.
a chair. No more.
It died with Star Surge. Yeah.
It went out with plates spinning.
Yep.
That's right.
Plate
swear,
spinning gave way to cup stacking.
It really did.
Someone went, what happened to all the plate spinners? They're all stacking cups now, bro.
Do you think it was when they started charging for checked bags for those guys that traveled all that shit?
With all the plates?
Yeah, they're just paying all this money to travel with their ladder and their plates.
Oh, yeah, that's
cups,
probably when Southwest added a fee. That's when they stopped traveling with an 8-foot ladder.
All prop comics travel Southwest because of the free bags.
But if you're balancing, like if I was a nose bridge balancer, I would just find out what's backstage of every theater and be like, all right, I'll do the ladder on wheels. I'll do the stool. I'll do the folding chair, like whatever is ubiquitous and always backstage.
That's smart. Stool, you can always get a stool.
A grip with a headset.
Yeah, there's always one of those.
There's always that weird ladder with the rolling thing on it, the A-frame ladder with the wheels on it. Mm-hmm.
That's a weird skill. That's a weird skill. So you ever work somewhere and you're doing comedy, and then somebody gets up and does something like that, and you're like, hey, they're clapping for that too. Like I've been writing these jokes. That guy fucking put a ladder on his nose.
I think it's the other way. I'm like, that's so much more impressive than what I'm going to do.
Wow.
I'm just talking. That guy's got a ladder on his nose. Yeah. All right. Oh, the jugglers. I mean, on the unicycle with the torches and the machetes. I mean, that's applause break shit.
I worked with Jeff Dunham once in Evansville, Indiana, and his most of his shit got lost on the plane.
Oh,
and it was a sold out show. I was the MC, and he has like Peanut the doll and like Walter somewhere at American Airlines.
Wow,
don't know where, what city. He's in the green room, sold out. He's just freaking out because he's a man that needs his plates and stuff. And he did the whole show. He had one little puppet that he had in his carry-on. I did the whole show, and then he just had Walter's head. He had the head of the puppet, but the body had been checked. So he did the whole. You could see the string, like the string, just ruined the whole illusion. And I just ran into him later. He said he never checked those puppets again.
Oh yeah,
he carries them on now.
No, I'm here to tell you because I was making my way to coach and I saw Walter in first class with Dunham. They weren't even in the same row.
That's money.
And Walter was hitting
Not
pretty
in the same
hard
row?
on that stewardess. Yeah, no.
Damn.
Yeah. He'd had a couple of belts, too, I think Walter did at the time. So, we have AOC.
First class puppet money, man. That's
better than FU money. She's calling Elon dumb.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed.
Hold on.
That weird probably even
pause. The weird laugh is always interesting to me, So, okay, hold on a second. According to her, most billionaires are just daddy's money, nepo billionaire babies. So Pritzker got all his money because his dad runs Hilton Hotels or whatever it is. So you're saying most billionaires just get their money from daddy, but even in that group, he's amongst the dumbest of the billionaires, even though many of them are just ones that got money from daddies, whatever daddy invented or worked on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as smart as any of these people, but he caught a rocket. Remember? He shot it into space, and I feel like you can't be a dummy to catch a rocket. Like it was moving really fast.
And it came down.
He caught it with a thing. I feel like that right there is like, that's a smart guy.
That's smart. All right, well, go back 10 seconds. Let's see what she has to say.
or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart. And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. I mean, this guy is one of the most morally vacant, but also just...
It's dangerous.
Least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know of. But the point is...
Hold on a second. She had 1 minute to talk about how dumb Elon Musk was and revealed herself as dumb in 41 seconds when she ran out of steam.
Yeah.
She literally, you could see her running out of steam about Elon Musk. All right, sorry, you can play it.
Least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know of. But the point is that what that means is that they're going to hit a button inevitably. They are going to hit a button and things can go sideways. This dude...
Dumb. Byron, you can find it, but AOC put a video out like 4 or 5 years ago explaining she didn't know what a garbage disposal was. So she doesn't know what a garbage disposal is, and he catches rockets with giant chopsticks. I would argue, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he is not the dumb one.
Yeah,
I'd say the one who's not familiar with what a garbage disposal is may be the dumb one, not the guy who sends shit to outer space and then catches it.
Yeah, even if that was your opening and closing statement, that's all you got to say?
That's all I got to say.
That's all you have. He's smarter.
Look. Is this her?
Oh, no.
Okay, this is her. Sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to ask you to vote on who the smarter one is. I'm not even going to say their name. Person A doesn't know what a garbage disposal is. Here we go.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
What?
I've never seen a garbage disposal.
All right.
I never
Pause
had
it.
one in-
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you got that? Now, I'm not even going to have you hear the other person talk. I'm just going to show you footage of his 30-story tower with giant chopsticks catching a reusable rocket as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. Here you go, everybody. See that? Okay, one guy invented that. The other person's confused by garbage disposal, which started being a regular part of people's homes in 1959. That tape was from 2014, ladies and gentlemen. So I rest. Just go back. Oh, you didn't need to adjourn.
I feel like the other lawyer's like, I just agree with him.
Yeah, I'm out.
I give up. Mm-hmm. You made such a great point earlier. For her, why would she go after him? She should have been like, you're socially awkward.
Right.
Or you're like, pick something else.
Well, the argument is that Elon Musk has other people running SpaceX and has other... I heard this argument before.
Everybody has everyone... Look, I don't like to talk about myself. I cannot tell you how many times I've said to people where they go, oh, this is a cool studio, or it's like a cool space. And I go, well, I used to be a contractor. Oh, you built? Yeah, I basically built this space. You built it? Well, yeah, I built it. You hung all the drywall. I go, I didn't. Okay, I designed it. I laid it out. But I didn't hang every piece of sheetrock and then sling every piece of joint compound or every broad knife full of joint compound and mud. No, I didn't. No, I didn't prime the walls. I designed it. I laid it out. I hung the doors or whatever. So you didn't do it all. You can't do shit. That part where you did it yourself. No. They has millions of welders and designers and engineers and whatever. And I would never say that he was even like an electronics engineer or mechanical engineer or whatever. He transcends that. Rick Caruso builds the Grove. He doesn't build the Grove. Mexicans build the Grove. He fucking has the vision for the Grove, gets the money for the Grove, and next thing you know, we're just all enjoying the Grove. A safe, clean environment, and that's on Rick Caruso. Yeah. Now, he didn't spread any stucco. Mm-hmm. He just built the Grove. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of like, I don't know if Rick Caruso can build shit. I know he gets shit built, and that's all I want.
Yep. Same with like Tesla, right? Like Elon's not in there making, but without him, there is no Tesla.
He's sort of our modern day Edison, I guess, where he has figured out how to, get the intellectual property and build a whole company around it.
All right, we need to take a quick break. We got the news, and we'll do that right after this. 1-800-Flowers Valentine's Day. It's coming up, and there's only one place I trust. That's 1-800-Flowers.com. This year, I'm partnering with 1-800-Flowers to make sure your Valentine's Day makes you a hero with an exclusive offer. Double the roses for free. That's right. Double. So it really fills out that vase. The quality's great. They send them over to me every time this year. And I have them up, put them up at Dr. Drew's house because that's where I'm staying. Still fresh, and it's been around for a week or so now. All the roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak, cared for every step of the way, and shipped fresh to ensure lasting beauty. Win their heart this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com and get that deal going. 1-800-Flowers.com, right, Dawson?
To claim your Double Your Roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/Adam. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Adam.
Chime. Oh, extra fees. They're all over the place now, aren't they? Anyone who travels feels them everywhere. Games, movies, airlines, everything's just a bump. A bump. They all want more. Well, we're trying to make progress here. Life will throw you some curveballs. I often feel like taking a step forward and then you're taking 2 steps back. Not with Chime. Chime is a checking account that makes financial progress easier and features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's where Chime comes in. I used to, one time when I was really broke, I went to take $20 out at an ATM because that's all I had left in my bank account, but it was a $2 surcharge, and I didn't have $22. I only had $20, so it wouldn't give me the $20. Well, I wish they had Chime back then. Now you guys got it, and it'll help you. So, to date, Chime has spotted members over $30 billion with a B dollars. It is Chime, right, Dawson?
Turn your everyday purchases into steps toward your financial goals with Chime's secure credit card. Get started today at chime.com/Adam. That's chime.com/Adam. Chime feels like progress. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawals and OTC advance fees may apply. Late payment may negatively affect your credit score. Results may vary. MyPay eligibility requirements apply. Credit limits range from $20 to $500. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
I'm having a weird week. The other day I noticed if you watch all the Star Wars movies back to back in order and really pay close attention, you're a friggin' loser.
Jamie Lissow is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Jamie, do you live in Alaska?
I do.
Wow.
I live in Fairbanks, Alaska. Yeah.
Wait a minute. With your hot girlfriend?
So, Erica, that's my fiance. We live in Boise, Idaho together.
I'm saying hot chicks aren't going to Alaska.
She doesn't.
I know where hot chicks travel. I follow their migration.
Yeah.
I do. Like that guy, there's a guy who does that with, what's her name's air travel with
That's right.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift's air travel. He charts it.
I was wondering if you did something.
And
I saw you looking at her with those binoculars.
I
go,
follow hot chicks migration, and they never end up in Alaska.
They don't.
So you say you have a fiance. She's very attractive. She's sitting in the back, and it says here you live in Alaska, but she doesn't live in Alaska.
No, so I have a house in Alaska. It's a bit of an ex-wife situation. She's from there. My kids live up there, and so I have a house there where my kids have rooms. And when I get them, I go up there, and she does go with me sometimes. But we're in Boise.
I'm not saying hot chicks can't travel to Alaska. I'm saying 72 hours is the max before they have to head back out.
You're saying it's always a round trip ticket.
Yeah, there's no settling in Alaska.
Yeah, there's no putting stakes down. Yeah,
there's no putting stakes down. There's no hanging shingles.
Right.
And there's also, they're on the clock. They got 72 hours from the time they leave the Alaska airport to the time they're due back.
Yeah, even when she comes to my house, she keeps one foot out the door. Like,
oh, yeah. In Alaska?
Yeah, she tells the Uber to just wait.
Yeah, she's too good looking for Alaska.
Yeah, we just, Erica's a physician. She's a doctor, and she just started.
Really?
Yeah. And she does.
Wait, she's too good looking to be a doctor now.
I know, right? But she started doing telemedicine and traveling with me. And so our new thing, that's why I'm able to come, the road gets a little bit lonely, but it's been great. So she just flew in this morning. And she does like telemedicine in the hotel or wherever, and then I do shows at night.
People will contact her and show her lesions or things or discuss things or whatever, and then she'll prescribe things.
That's right. Can I ask you? I have a question. So she is attractive, right? And all of the time, I get insulted by people. Like they go, "You are very nice." You go, "Oh, you have an attractive fiance."
Where's she from? Canada?
She's from Boise.
Oh, okay. All right. She's not from Florida or California. Florida and California, hot chicks will learn early. I'm not doing anything.
Right.
I'm not going to. I'm going to med school.
Yes.
Fuck that.
No. Yeah, you're upset. But I've been getting a lot of and I want to know. Sometimes I wonder, like, am I a dick? Like, I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy, but every once in a while I get a little bit upset and I do something. And so last night, somebody who had seen Erica and me was saying hi after Comedy Magic, and they were very drunk. To be clear, they were actually kind of annoying, not being super nice. And they go, "Dude, saw your fiance, outkicked your coverage."
Yeah.
I go, "Okay, outkicked your." Kept kind of saying it, and his wife was drunk, and she was telling me my merch was stupid and whatever. And I looked at him, and I looked at his wife, and I go, "Looks like you got a safety."
Oh,
that's what I said. Oh, and I shouldn't have, right? Is that a? But I was really. Would you be offended? Should a guy be offended when someone says, "You outkicked your coverage," or is that an insult or is it a compliment?
I feel like as a guy, being hit on by gay guys is a compliment, even though it might upset certain guys, but it's a compliment.
Yep.
Outkicking your coverage, compliment.
Okay.
You know, what's she doing with you? Compliment.
Okay.
And them, not while you're standing there, but while you're at the bar, them hitting on her is a compliment. It's all a compliment.
Agree.
Until she blows them in the bathroom.
That's right.
And that's when it becomes an
then
insult.
She's compromised.
That's when you realize she's been compromised. All right. What do you got, man?
Oh, man. First up, Trump signs an executive order intended to bar transgender athletes from girls' and women's sports. Yeah, significant policy move. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, aiming to prohibit transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports.
Yeah, it's always funny when you argue with people who are against this. They go, "It's barely even a thing." And it's like, all right, well then so what? Then shut up. Now it's the law. I'll make your argument. It's not a big deal. All right, well then it's not going to affect anybody. So good. We have to make this rule.
I wanted a rule. I was thinking it'd be simpler if we made a rule like that Leah Thomas situation, the swimmer. I was like, what if we just make a rule like you're not allowed to compete in women's swimming if when you win, you get a boner, like you're excited. And then like if they hang a gold medal on your penis, perhaps you had an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
I was going the other way, which is you can compete as a man, but we got to add titty weight. You know what I mean? Sandbag it.
Yes.
Now you can get in the pool and have fun trying to beat the chick with 25 pounds of titty
You're right,
sand in there.
It's an aerodynamic advantage.
I'll see you in Davy Jones' locker, bro. She still got that locker down there at the bottom of the ocean?
I'm glad Trump's doing stuff, man. Do you remember Biden's first executive order? It was cream of wheat.
That's right. He ordered cream of wheat.
Like this with a side of juice.
And tapioca. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the legal battle. There's going to be legal battles. Families with LGBTQ healthcare providers and advocacy groups contend that the administration's action have led to suspension of necessary medical treatments, causing immediate harm to transgender individuals.
I love that they're necessary.
Yeah.
Like a crazy person doesn't get their tits cut off in the next 20 minutes, there's going to be a big problem. Yeah. Okay, crazy person.
The worst is the MMA. Like watching someone that's identifying as a woman just beat someone up is one of the hardest things to watch.
I trained with a girl that went and fought a transgender and beat the hell out of this guy. It was pretty bad.
Oh, wait.
She
you
won.
Trained a
I trained with a girl, Ashley, that fought Fallon Fox, that was a transgender MMA athlete that fought as a woman but was born a man. Yeah. So I mean, that's rare. Ashley is just such a beast of a fighter that she, took her down and pounded her out. But or him, whatever.
But I agree. It's like it's disgusting and it's hard to watch. And when I'm done masturbating, I immediately write a letter to my congressperson. So I'm with you, Jamie.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of masturbating, OnlyFans model suing Tyreek Hill over a broken leg admits she had sex with him afterwards. Developing legal case, an OnlyFans model is suing NFL star Tyreek Hill, alleging that he was responsible for breaking her leg during an incident. What happened was they were running kind of football plays in the backyard.
Really?
She broke her leg.
After the sex?
No, before.
Before?
He gave her a piggyback ride up to the bedroom and gave her another kind of ride afterwards. And then she stayed the weekend and had some more sex. She's a big drink of water. It'd be hard double-leg tackling her.
Yeah.
Is that weird? That's weird foreplay, right?
It definitely is.
That sounds weird.
I've been in that zone. A girl, as a MMA fighter, girls want to wrestle around and do some weird stuff beforehand.
Uh-huh. Do you think the term OnlyFans model is thrown around pretty loosely, almost like porn star? Like you never go like, "Oh, I was a porn extra."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
OnlyFans star. I don't know when the subscriptions get you to star mode.
Yeah. But
yeah, she's suing for $50,000 of medical expenses and emotional distress.
So he was like running routes with her before.
She said, I read another article about it. She said that when they were doing football plays, he was in the zone. Like he was like there to do what he do, and just ended up breaking her leg. Yeah, she broke the leg. Then she stayed for the weekend, sleep with him, and now she's coming after him for 50 grand. Wow. Hill's lawyers have claimed that Hall broke her leg tripping over a dog. So the he said, she said for show.
I mean, the dog could have been in the middle of the route.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. As well.
That's true.
Dog could have been napping.
Yeah.
She's running a button hook or a flag or an up and out.
Yeah, dog could have been setting a screen or something.
He's up there yelling Omaha. So he put her in motion. Stomped his foot. She went in motion.
I find the whole thing so bizarre. I think that it's like I just can't imagine this is like getting a prostitute. Or were they dating, or was it? Because I was just trying, like, if you get a prostitute, usually you don't go, hey, before we start, let's go run some routes. Let's run some routes. Is that not weird?
I don't know. I think he was dating her, but now she wants 50 G's for that night.
Yeah, I hope the dog has 50 grand.
Jesus Christ. What has this world come to? I'm really disgusted with all of you. You should know that right now. I just OnlyFans and all this stuff. I feel so old because I'm just like, I don't know. Let's be honest. Can you guys be honest for a second?
I will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember when porn tapes would have like sex talk, 1-900 lines on the back. You could call up and have phone sex with somebody. And I was sort of like, I don't get phone sex with somebody. I get sex, and I get watching porn, but I don't get talking about sex. But as a kid, I never got comic books or baseball cards. Like I had friends that had piles of baseball cards, and I would go, well, let's go play baseball. They go, let's trade cards. I go, I don't want to look at pictures of guys holding a bat. I want to go swing a bat.
Right.
And I don't want to see Spider-Man jumping off the roof. Let's go jump off the roof into the swimming pool next door. Like I was very action-oriented, but never got the part where kids sat and read about action shit. And I felt, but then later on, when I became an adult, I just took that very consistently into phone sex, which is I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to do it or watch it.
Sure. I saw one clip when I was a kid. I remember watching, it had to be on like VH. It was some weird story where they showed a woman with an incredibly sexy voice that was like 300 pounds. And, and I remember like, that's what I always pictured when people go, oh, I'm calling the phone. I was like, you don't know who you're talking to. And for me, that would ruin Not that I'd be into it anyway, but that would like ruin any kind of imagination or what she looks
And now we're getting to that day of an AI girl talking to you through AI with the robots. So you're just cutting women, real women, all the way out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you though, man. I never got I don't go to strip clubs, and I have never been a fan. I think I've been to a couple if it was like a bachelor party for the same kind of reason. Even if I was a single guy, if I would like to meet a girl and maybe potentially sleep with her at some point, I would like to talk to her and then meet her, and then maybe I don't get the whole.
Now
like the fake
Instagram is like the soft porn where it's like they get you reeled in and then they have an OnlyFans click and then suddenly you're in this parasocial relationship where, and maybe if you're a football player, you get to break a chick's leg.
Yeah.
Well, the only one who thinks this story's funny is the cop who pulled him over in front of the stadium 6 months ago. He's laughing. Because that guy makes $52,000 a year.
That's right.
Got suspended for 3 weeks. He's laughing his ass off right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Another story.
Here's another story. Human brain samples contain an entire spoon's worth of nanoplastic, this study says. Groundbreaking new study reveals that microplastics have been detected in human brains for the first time, raising concern about their long-term health impacts. Research analyzed tissue samples from the autopsies and found tiny plastic particles embedded in the brain's protective membranes.
Yeah.
Why this is dangerous, this polyethylene terephthalate found in water bottles and food containers. It's still unclear how much damage microplastics could cause.
All right. Plastic is bad. It's always been bad. And the only piece of any kind of my mom was an old-time hippie whose batting average, she's about 0 for 700,000 in her global warming or ice age or sitting too close to the TV set or here's why we can't own a microwave oven. She was wrong. She's wrong about every thought she's ever had. But the plastic thing she was thinking about early.
That's big.
And I was kind of with her. And I've always been that way, but I've always been put off by plastic. And for instance, I subscribed to a water bottle service at my old house, and it came in a glass bottle. Like I didn't want a big plastic bottle. When I've been known to like bring a metal fork and a knife like with me to a place just so as not to use the spork and the plastic knife. I don't like cutting a steak with a fucking plastic knife. I'm not talking about going to a good restaurant, but some event. I hate when you get a beer in a plastic. I'm like, I love glass, and I tell people all the time, stop buying all your condiments in the plastic squeeze thing. Get glass. It's always better. It means the contents are better. Forget about the plastic part. It always just means a higher quality.
Yeah, a glass of wine or champagne in a plastic cup. Worst thing ever.
Yes, worst thing ever. Yeah. So I'm sure we all have this. I cannot prevent anyone from doing it, but every woman I've ever been with brings in cases of plastic bottles of water all the time that I pay for, and I go, don't do it. Just get a glass, use the water machine, use the filtered water. It's like, we need water, people need. And I'm like, we're just filling up landfills. This shit's sitting out on a truck. Sun's hitting it. It's fucked up. It's ugly American shit. Like, don't do it. Well, how are people going to? Just take a glass, go fill it up, go use what's in the glass.
Yeah, the American thing really is convenience over all else.
Yes.
Over like with plastic bottles, it's so much. You're right. Like it would be so much better. But damn it, I think I bought a plastic. But is this from drink? Are they talking about like when you heat up something in a Tupperware container, or is this just legitimately if I drink out of a bottle of water, I'm going to have these?
It's literally everywhere. But if you leave the shit out in the sun and it gets hot, then it heat cycles a few times in your car, like floating around the passenger seat, and then you drink it. I mean, it's just first off, if plastic is everywhere all the fucking time, how can it not be in our brain?
Right.
If it's ubiquitous, if there's plastic bottles everywhere, plastic utensils, plastic cups, plastic plates, plastic to go, if everything is just 100% plastic and everything it's in a ketchup, mustard, it's all in plastic. Well, then Wouldn't you be surprised we didn't have a bunch of plastic in our head?
Yeah, that would be weird.
And let's just say, okay, let's just say this. Forget about plastic. Let's just say everything comes in a mahogany container. Okay. All water, relish, ketchup. When you go get Chinese takeout, you bring it home in a mahogany container, and then 20 years later, somebody goes, "We found some mahogany, some red apples." And I'd go, "Well, of course you did. That's all we have."
My dry clean is a mahogany.
Yeah, like that's all. Why wouldn't we have traces of mahogany in our brain if every single thing we touched came in a mahogany container?
I guess the question is, should we be scared? What can this
the
plastic
researchers
do to me?
are kind of saying that the damage microplastic could cause, they trigger inflammation and interfere with brain function and potentially contribute to neurological conditions like dementia.
But see, I'm almost done with my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
The kids who do nothing but fucking smoke pot and out of a plastic bong. Yeah, you guys are fucked.
It's a double whammy.
You guys are semi-retarded already, and now this, and a whole life. By the way, the first 30, 40 years of my life, I grew up just drinking from the fucking sink with my head.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even use a cup.
You ever do a hose? I drank out of a hose.
Oh, I did a hose.
Yeah.
I would do a hose. I would do the head under the sink.
Yes.
I didn't even forget about a plastic cup. I'd have a gourd to drink out of. I put my head in the sink.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any bottled water, any plastic. There was no sports containers, with squeeze containers. There was nothing.
Right.
It was nothing.
I'm switching to mahogany.
Yeah, go to
across the board. Across the board.
It's a good movie too.
I wonder who will solve this: Elon Musk or AOC.
AOC's
AOC definitely with the garbage
What?
disposal.
Have you guys heard of a garbage disposal? Jesus fucking Christ! I mean, that's borderline retarded, right? I'm not. Here's all I know. I grew up in the poorhouse, in a house that had no clothes dryer and no washing machine, no dishwasher, and no air conditioning, and I grew up pioneer style. We had a garbage disposal, and that was put in that house in 1955. That's all we had, but that's what we had. So the fact that in 2019 she doesn't know what a fucking garbage disposal is means I'll play the game stupid or liar.
Yeah.
She's either lying or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, Ford expects to rack up EV losses of $5.5 billion in 2025, sending shares skidding. Yeah, the motor company has announced that it anticipates losses up to $5.5 billion in its electric vehicle and software operations for 2025, mirroring similar losses from 2024.
These guys are in such a weird position and I've had dinner with the guys who run Ford and Farley who runs Ford and stuff. Good dude, vintage racer, blah blah blah. They'll go like, they're fucking breaking our backs. The Green Coalition and the AOC shit and the Biden shit, and they're fucking destroying our company.
Yeah.
But we can't talk shit about them because we need them they need to play nice with them. Those guys they don't say anything like during the election. They're so fucking happy that idiot is gone and Trump is there. All these guys. Because they're getting killed with all these mandates.
Yeah, it's too bad we couldn't have just kept Ford like the Mustangs and they just go gas and somebody else does. It's too bad that they're being forced to go into a direction that they probably never wanted to, probably had no interest in. I don't know, maybe they did, but
no, I mean they make a hell of a diesel dually truck. I have one. They're just getting forced into doing something they don't want to do by the government, and it's fucking destroying them. So hopefully that'll change now, but they took a big hit.
Yeah, the company cites persistent quality issues and potential increased costs due to proposed tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada as contributing factors to this outlook. Pre-tax income between $7 billion and $8.5 billion in 2025, a decrease from $10.2 billion in 2024.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll overcome and they'll be back. And the thing about electric cars is electric cars are fine, but when we go back and look at this history, when the history books are written, they will have shown that the electric car came out 10 years before the infrastructure to support electric car came out, and that the only one who kind of supported it and did it right was the dumb dude with Tesla and Elon, because you can have a Tesla and make it from here to Vegas and stop and recharge in Baker or whatever. All the other electric cars don't have the infrastructure to support it, and that's the government. And the government was going to build with the Green New Deal 70,000 new chargers. They haven't built any
that's what they
since
said.
they got the money 4 years ago. So the government, they're good at the decrees. They're just not good at the execution of the decrees. And that's why I like the private industry to work on these problems. And what the government is doing is they're essentially, it's like California. Gavin Newsom's talking about outlawing internal combustion engines by like 2030. He doesn't have the electric infrastructure to not get rolling brownouts during the summer when it gets over 90 degrees, and he's telling people to do their laundry at 4 a.m. during like non-peak hours. So you can't even support what you have right now, and you're making these decrees.
Yeah. I rented a car the other day from somewhere, and they just gave it to me, and I drove away, and I didn't realize until I left that it was an electric car. I didn't plan for it, and I was going to do a gig that was like 300 miles. I was like driving around a casino, and that I look at the range and I go, I'm not gonna. I was just like, oh, I'll just get gas when I run out, and it really struck me that like that is a tough. Like when you need gas, you just go get gas. It takes like 5 minutes. When you need, even if you have a supercharger, sometimes it's full, takes 20 to 40 minutes. It's just such a different experience. And as I was running out of energy, I thought to myself, what happens if you run out of, does someone bring you a can of energy? Like, what do you do if you run out on the highway? Because I had trouble. I had an app, and I went to one, and it was shut down. I had like 1 or 2 miles left when I found my energy thing. But like, what do you do?
I think you go to the front of the car, and you go like this. You crank it like a 1920 Model T.
But I didn't know what to do, because I was like, that's an interesting, like, I don't know if a truck comes and brings you
range anxiety.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was behind a car that was wrapped for some EV something solutions or something the other day, and I was thinking, do these guys bring you power, or do these guys set up chargers at home? And I didn't know what the company did. It was like electric car, caddy or something. And I don't know, you can look, Byron, but is there a service
like a AAA or something?
No, there is. I've looked into this. Where they run the power from your house into the equipment for home charging.
Hold on a second. Let me handle this. No shit, Sherlock. I'm saying, is there a service? Yes, understood that part. I've installed 3. Is there a service that comes out to stall Jamie on the way to the casino with the van that has the stack of batteries in it and gives you the 20-mile quick zap?
That's what I want to know.
Thing. Yeah. That's what I'm wanting. Now,
is there a fix-a-flat for energy?
Yes, they have services. It's kind of cool. There are gasoline services where they'll like come to your house and fill your car up and probably charge you $9 a gallon. But hey, if you're a rich guy, you never go to a gas station ever again. Like every Monday, that guy just comes to your home, like your gardener. You know, hey, if you're a rich guy, for sure.
Sure.
Yes, if your electric vehicle stalls, most roadside assistance services can provide a small charge to get you to a nearby charging station, though they may not be able to fully charge your car on the spot. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. In some cases, they might need to tow your vehicle to a charging station. So would AAA come by with their truck and charge you? Because if so, it would be a different truck than a normal tow truck. I would assume
it's not a battery cable type deal.
And when you plug that car into 110 into household current, and you go inside and you have a 5-hour meal and you come back out and you have 4 miles on that thing. I mean, that is a trickle charger. AAA offers mobile EV charging and charging stations at some branch offices to members at no extra cost. But so they do mobile charging, so they can come. I wonder. It's got to be minimum though. It's not like they're going to give you 50 miles worth. They're going to give you a small amount, but they'll have some sort of app where you could find the closest charger that's whatever.
I think they get you to where you could buy a car that runs on gas.
They bring you to
a dealership.
For your place selling used Escalades.
Correct your mistake.
All right, what else we got there, man?
We already covered the Kamala Harris interview.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the actual that 179 stumbling answer was shortened in the final cut to just 20 words.
Oh.
I thought you might think that's interesting.
Oh, maybe we have that. You're talking about the one about the Middle East and Israel and Palestine or whatever. Yeah, maybe we can find that clip. But yeah, what they did is they cleaned it up, which is not really why you sit down to let America know who you are.
It's not the show 2 minutes. It's 60 minutes. It's supposed to be a comprehensive interview.
You wonder if the person doing the interviews kind of miffed that they end up looking like a softballer because they cut out all the tough parts of the question. Kamala Harris is not a bright person, and there's also something weird and wrong with her.
Yeah.
And, like the whole part where and also it's not her fault. It's the media's fault. Like somebody should have said, look, let's just put this to rest right now. You said multiple times you worked at McDonald's. Donald Trump says you never worked at McDonald's, and so does everyone on the right. So let's just set the record straight. Tell us which McDonald's. Tell us what the location is. Tell us what you did there. And tell us what your manager's name was. Because this guy worked at the Studio City McDonald's in 1979, probably June 1980. Got the job there. Manager named Ken. Heavyset man of color, sweeping the mop of the dining area. Work the griddle, know the lingo. Burgers up, wrap, please. Cheese count on max, please. Cheese 3, please. Thank you. I know the rap.
That's right.
Because I worked there. I know where it is, and you can go find it, and it'll be documented, and then you can find some record of me working there, and go find Ken. He's probably still alive.
I worked at Arby's on Westridge Road. Tom Keene was my manager. He was a bodybuilder. I would work the back line. You want a super with extra sauce? I could run the drive-thru. You go find these people. I was there, Westridge Road.
I worked at Subway. My manager's name was Jim. I worked at the Cross Creek Mall. I know how to make a U-gouge. I'm a sandwich artist. Would you like salt and pepper, oil and vinegar?
Right. So every fast food place has its own language.
Yeah.
And again, they teach you because I couldn't be making Big Macs and go, hey, what's your douche? How many of the cheese with the thing?
Right.
You know what I mean? I would have to go, cheese count on Max, please. Mm-hmm. And then they would go, cheese 3, please. And I'd go, thank you. And then I'd go, burgers up, wrap, please. Because there's customers and you couldn't be yelling stupid stuff. And so that shit gets burned in, and you know what it is. Yeah. And you know your manager's name, and you know the location, and you know what your job was. So some journalist could have said, let's do it. And by the way, I'm not just going to ask you if you worked at McDonald's, and you're going to go, yeah. I'm going to say where, when, what'd you get an hour, who was your manager, and how can we document this?
Yep. You're like a super at Arby's. 3 ounces of roast beef, lettuce, tomato, and Arby's sauce. Mm-hmm. Super's up. You're right. There's a lingo you can easily. I also think it's strange that Kamala and Biden, when they lie, if you're gonna lie, go for it. The things that they lie about. Hey, my uncle was eaten by cannibals. I worked at McDonald's. If we're just making shit up, say you worked at NASA.
I used to lie about not working at McDonald's, especially on dates. You know, what, are you kidding? You think I'm poor?
Well, just so you know,
why do your cuticles smell like onions, Adam? Oh, that's
that is a weird lie.
The 60 Minutes is under scrutiny by the FCC for election interference because of this.
Well, we'll play the clip real fast. Sheriff Wayne is waiting for us on Zoom, but we'll play this clip. I believe we have, and that we'll play.
The events of the past few weeks have pushed us to the brink, if not into, an all-out regional war in the Middle East. What can the U.S. do at this point to stop this from spinning out of control?
Well, let's start with October 7, because obviously what we do now must be in the context of what has happened. And as I reflect on a year ago, and that 1,200 people were massacred, young people at a festival, at a music festival. 250 hostages were taken, including Americans. Women were brutally raped. And as I said then, I maintain Israel has a right to defend itself, we would, and how it does so matters. And as we fast forward into what we have seen in the ensuing weeks and months, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we know that, and I think most agree, this war has to end. And that has to be our number one imperative. And that has been our number one imperative. How can we get this war to end? Well, critical elements of that are we have got to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. We have to get aid in. We have to lay the path toward a two-state solution. I do believe that we must maintain that as an objective, no matter how out of reach it seems at the moment. And the work that we have to do is also pay attention to what is happening every day in the region and put U.S. resources into everything we can do diplomatically and otherwise to de-escalate what is happening in the region.
Hey, that's a long time to do the feigning interest look on your face.
He was struggling hard at the end.
He's like, face, don't fail me now. Yeah. Come on, face.
He was working. Every muscle in his face was
eyes
working.
Don't roll. Do not roll eyes. Come on, eyes. Stick with me.
Don't laugh.
Stick with the feign interest.
I
face.
need this job.
Eyes.
I need this job.
Come on. Do not do the roll. She's wrapping it up.
Interested.
Come on now.
Nod.
Now, that's the one that they cut up.
Yes.
And that was her real answer, where she seemed like the word salad dingbat. All right. And then, well, we have to have an A and a B, right? All right. This is the other one. Yeah, this is the one. This is how it came across. And sorry, volume.
We supply Israel with billions of dollars in military aid. And yet Prime Minister Netanyahu seems to be charting his own course. The Biden-Harris administration has pressed him to agree to a ceasefire. He's resisted. You urged him not to go into Lebanon. He went in anyway. He has promised to make Iran pay for the missile attack, and that has the potential of expanding the war. Does the U.S. have no sway over Prime Minister Netanyahu?
The aid that we have given Israel, allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, The work that we have done.
All right, this isn't the A and the B. This is just to run on whatever. But this was edited up. We were going to do a A and a B, but I guess we didn't have the A or the B, or we had two Bs. Either way, she's a talker, but she doesn't say anything.
I have an unsubstantiated accusation. Like I have no way to, but it almost seems like if you say our A to B just without the words that they said, it almost seems like they sped her up 5%.
Yeah.
In the B that you played, she was talking. It felt like she was talking a little bit. Which would be very easy.
Yeah.
Video editing would be super easy to make it like a tiny bit faster.
Whatever it is, whether it's an umpire at a baseball game, we just don't want to make the umpire making it easier for the pitcher or the batter. Just balls and strikes. That's what 60 Minutes should be doing. All right. We'll take a break. Sheriff Wayne Ivey, very interesting guys coming up. Jamie Lissow has got a podcast, Afraid to Ask, is available where you find finer podcasts.
That's right.
Right, as well. Also, live shows coming up, Oxnard, Levity Live. Good. That's this Saturday. Good venue. Second show's got a couple tickets left. Scottsdale Performing Arts Center coming up now. First show sold out. But they added a second. And where do we go to find? We go to for upcoming dates.
Upcoming dates, you can go to jamielissow.com. Or I also bought robschneidersfriend.com and gregGutfeld'sfriend.com, if you forget my name.
Smart. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll talk to the sheriff right after this. Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just a house or property. It's the location. It's the neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, transportation options, all the above. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking about deep. That's right. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know, all in one place. Homes.com. Homes.com. We've done your homework. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bam! You know the song, right? Mm-hmm. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and all the parts and knowledge you need to maintain and repair your automobile. Always been an O'Reilly guy. Used to go to the one out in North Hollywood when I was over there. Then I moved to La Crescenta. Went to the one up on Foothill. Still swing by there every once in a while because I'm a hands-on guy. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best off, they're friendly because some of those auto parts guys can be a little tough around the edges. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace man, I figured out how to get your power lines buried in Los Angeles. Come out with a statement that says raised PR lines negatively affect the black, brown, and trans community, and we must bury them immediately in order to fight ongoing racism. Get it on, baby.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Sheriff Wayne Ivey is joining us now. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Good to see you, Sheriff. What county are you in Florida?
We're in Brevard County, Florida, on the Space Coast.
And I was watching a very interesting video, the Wheel of Fugitives that you had going. Why don't you explain how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we came up with the idea. It's 10 fugitives on a wheel. It's kind of like Wheel of Fortune, except really it's more like Wheel of Misfortune, if you will. And we spin it, and we ask our community to help us find whoever the fugitive of the week is, and it works great. We get great engagement from our community, and it's got about an 88% success rate when we do it. So it's been a lot of fun. We try and mix a little bit of humor in with the stuff we're doing, but we're serious about getting bad people off our street.
Hey, you know what I always think with bad people, and Sheriff Wayne, by the way, is over 3 decades of law enforcement experience, graduated from the prestigious FBI National Academy, studied management and supervision from Daytona State College. So just so you know, it seems to the layperson who is me that is a very small number of people creating a large amount of crime, and it's statistically a small group. So the notion of when we catch them, we almost immediately push them back into society to create more crime doesn't make sense to me.
It absolutely does. It makes us sick. We go out, our team goes out, and they arrest the people, get them off the street. And sometimes before you get through with the paperwork, they put them right back out, or they give them a ridiculous or stupid low bond. It's even worse than that, Adam. We see people that we arrest while they're out on bond, and then they give them another bond. So, what's the old thing? The insanity of the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. There you go. That's the criminal justice system.
Is this stuff starting to wane a little bit? Like, I live in California. Everyone is nuts here. We have the George Soros, elected DAs, and they come and they ruin everything. And then we get tired of it. And then we ask for law and order. And then at some point we get it. But it's only after San Francisco and Los Angeles are ruined do we get this. And I don't know why we need to keep conducting the same experiment that never works.
Right. Well, they get it, but they just ignore it. And, I tell everybody, we live in the free state of Florida. And in Brevard County, if you spit on our sidewalk, we lock your butt up. We don't care. We don't apologize for it. And we don't wait for crime to rise to the level that a community can no longer tolerate. So they get it. They just don't do anything about it. And we see extreme examples of differences between the way we fight crime in Florida and the way they fight crime or say they fight crime in California.
What do you make of a lot of these sanctuary cities saying they're not going to comply with ICE? And to go further, they're actually going to aid and abet some of the illegals that ICE is trying to gather up.
Yeah, I say, first of all, get out of the way. Let us do it. We'll take care of protecting your citizens, which you're not doing. And I say right now is not the time to be doing it. There's a new sheriff in Washington, D.C., and I think people are about to find that out if they play that game this time.
Well, I would assume most of it is just posturing. Like, it's so funny. All these people they're really cowards, but they try to come across as heroes, and you have school teachers, and they're all making these videos saying, you try to come for my kids, you got to come through me first. And it's like, yeah, well, you just get out of the way. You're a heavy-set, middle-aged woman, and we just get out of the way and we'll take the kids. Or we'll just wait till they go home and we'll get them at the house. Like, they can do nothing. I don't know what the posturing is about we're going to have to go through you first. What does that even mean?
Well, that's the people that drank a can of Red Bull Keyboard Courage right before they queued up their video, and they're not going to do anything. They'll get out of the way quickly, but they would change their tone if all of a sudden their family became victimized by one of these people that are here in our country illegally. I guarantee it. If they became an angel family, they would have a different idea about what law and order really needs to do.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have thoughts about law and law enforcement, the law enforcement community, and so on and so forth. But to me, it's just nuts and bolts. It's pretty old. There's ways to fix it and work on it, nips and tucks along the way. When they talk about reimagining policing, that's when we get into trouble.
That's exactly right. The old school stuff works. I'll give an example. in Brevard County, we have an actual chain gang. We have inmates that go out on the side of the road and pick up trash. Their ankles are chained together. We're one of only, I think, 8 in the country. The recidivism rate on normal people that have not been part of the chain gang in our county is 44% for male inmates, unless they've been on the chain gang, and then it's 2%. So, we know it works. We know that being hard on those that violate the law, keeping them locked up, those are things that works. But this go out and hug a thug type idea, just it doesn't work, and they keep doing it over and over again. And that's where you see crime rise to the level where people are moving out of areas because they no longer feel safe.
Yeah, and they also do this sort of apology thing, which is it's the poverty that causes the crime, which is I grew up with plenty of it, poverty and impoverished people. Nobody had any money, but nobody was a criminal. Historically, people have been poor, but they weren't criminals. You don't have to be a criminal just because you're poor.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm like you. I didn't grow up in a rich family or a family with a lot of money. And I had a mom and dad that held us accountable, kept us straight. As I tell everybody, my mom was the sheriff, the judge, and the executioner in our household, and my dad was her backup. They were the ones that were the chief law enforcement officers in our lives. So parents need to get back to holding their kids accountable. They need to let law enforcement officers do their job, and those that stand in the way, they need to find their way to jail too.
Do you feel like there's a new world order now with Trump and, Pam Bondi and Floridian Pam Bondi and guys like Pete Hegseth and guys that are just sort of Tom Holman, especially, like no nonsense, no more word salad, no more hug the thug, just we're getting it done, brass tacks, here we go.
Yeah, I think, you said a while ago, there's just a new attitude in there and no apologies. Nobody's apologizing for doing their jobs now. And they're not making excuses. They're saying those that violate the law are going to jail. Those that shouldn't be in our country are being taken out of our country. And we're going to strengthen our borders and make sure that our citizens are safe. And so I think it's great. I mean, I can tell you when President Trump was in office before, we had great support from Washington, D.C. Tom Homan, I've had a chance to work with him. Pam Bondi, I worked with her when she was the Attorney General here in Florida. And they are no nonsense. They are about putting bad people in jail.
What is some stuff people can do to avoid being victims of crime? For instance, like your home being broken into. Are there, I mean, I know there's stuff you can do, but are there things that can prevent it before it happens? Like lighting or signs saying you have an alarm company monitoring, or what is effective?
Yeah, absolutely. So making your home a hard target, that's what's effective. Whether that's having a sign outside that designates you have an alarm, whether that's having proper lighting, whether it's having a sign outside that says, I've got a great big gun in my house, don't come in here. Believe it or not, having dogs that are going to be an alarm for you or be protective. All of those things, the totality of all of them is what makes your home a hard target. And the same thing applies to outside your person. If you look like you're somebody that's not paying attention, is just kind of haphazardly going through your day, you are increasing your chances of being a victim of crime versus someone that's alert, someone that's aware and is paying attention to what's going on.
Well, you'll be happy to know, Sheriff, that when I had no car insurance and I drove a truck and I didn't have anything to my name except for a Sony digital dash stereo in my 84 Nissan pickup truck, and I lived in Hollywood, and I knew it was going to get stolen because it was the 80s and everyone stole everyone's car stereo back then. I spray painted my stereo brown, and it never got stolen. And everybody wanted to know why I spray painted my stereo brown and how that would prevent it from being stolen. Even when cops pulled me over and I said, who's going to sell a brown stereo? And they said, what does that mean? I said, whoever steals car stereos are drug addicts who need a fix and need to sell this immediately. And if I desecrate it by painting it brown, then they can't sell it and they can't get their drugs. And it worked. It never got stolen. And my truck was stolen 2 times, but I had a fuel cutoff switch on it, and I found it up the street each time. So
you should be out here teaching crime prevention. That's what you should be doing. You were thinking outside the box long ago.
I had a cop pull me over because after I got my truck stolen, for the first time, they pulled the ignition out, and I couldn't start my truck. I didn't have enough money to go to the dealer and get a new ignition, so I started my car with a flathead screwdriver. I just put it in the ignition and turn it with the screwdriver, and it would start up. A cop, LAPD, saw that I was starting my car with a screwdriver and thought I stole the car. So they pulled me over, and I explained to them the fuel cutoff switch and the painting of the stereo, and they labeled me a genius and let me go on my way. So, yes.
That's right. That was crime prevention back before we even thought of things like that. It's amazing the things that you can do. I tell people all the time, if you're not someone that has a dog, go get a big giant dog dish and put it at your front door and write Brutus on it.
Right.
Something to make them think you have that dog.
Yeah, get a big set of army boots and set them next to Brutus's bowl that never needs to be refilled. Yeah, I always said to people in one of my books, maybe I said, they had some people out here have a sticker in front for the fire department that says there's 5 cats in this house. I said, don't put that sticker on. You're going to get robbed. Take one, get one of the Dixie flag or the NRA and put the NRA sticker in the window. Don't put the 3 cats sticker in the window.
Right. You put you see the stickers all the time that this house is protected by Smith & Wesson and Glock and everything else. So those are the things that make the criminal go, you know what, I'm going to go find another target, not that one, because bad things are going to happen. And, the same thing applies to our schools too, Adam. We are the only agency in the country that I know of that my deputies walk through the halls with an AR strapped to the front of their vest. My theory is that if they have to run to their car or run to a safe to get their long gun, we're already behind the curve. So the same thing applies. We made our schools hard targets, and I want someone to know that if you have evil in your heart and you're coming on our campus to hurt a child, we're going to kill you dead. And we've got the very best school resource deputies out there, but it's the same principle. If you make yourself a hard target or you make your home a hard target, the criminal is going to go somewhere else.
Well, it's really about percentages, and I don't think people really understand percentages, which is they're not stealing your car stereo or robbing your house. They're just robbing a house to them.
That's right.
So it's nothing personal. They're just robbing stuff. And all you have to do is make your car stereo 10% less attractive or your house 10% less attractive for a robber, and they'll just slide over to the next house. It's real simple stuff. It's a percentage game, and it'll be just a little bit easier if they go across the street. So that's what they're going to do. So all you have to do is be a little less attractive than your neighbor's house, essentially.
I wonder if that works with your spouse, too. I wonder if that keeps somebody from taking your spouse as well.
I'm going to try that one out. Yeah, it is. I don't think people really break it down like statistically, even, which is you can leave your backpack on your passenger seat of your car and someone's going to break your window, or you can throw it in the trunk and they'll just go to the next car where they see someone left their backpack on the seat. And that's pretty much how criminals work, unless they're master jewel thieves and you own the Hope Diamond. That's a different situation.
We see the same thing with burglaries to cars. So, I can go to the shopping center or to the store and tried door locks and all of them are locked. You walk through the neighborhood and people leave their cars unlocked in their front yard because they live in a safe neighborhood. Well, we see groups, organizations that will actually come through the neighborhoods and just walk through, try and unlock cars. They're stealing everything out of them, whether it's electronics, medication that's left in the car, checkbooks, even the garage door opener. They'll take it and then they go right into the house. But if that car's locked, and we see it on the security cameras all the time, whether it's Ring or Blink, whatever it is, if the car's locked, they walk right next door to the neighbor's house and try their car. So the smallest of things, the totality of all of them is what makes you that hard target. And you're right. Criminals, whether they're violent or thieves or whatever they are, they're opportunists. They're looking for that easy score.
And they're weirdly pragmatic. You know, when you think about cartels, you know, they deal pot, and then at some point they decriminalize pot, and then they start doing human trafficking, or they start selling fentanyl, or whatever it is. They're very adaptable, and they're pragmatic by nature. Like, they have to be sort of fluid, you know, and so they're always going to take the lowest hanging fruit. So just don't be that.
Yeah, they adjust to whatever's on the market that day, and they are. They're simple. They're going to do the easiest thing they can do. They're going to make money, a quick score, and they're out the door. So if you make yourself that hard target, you know, I'm fully in support here in Brevard, or in the state of Florida, for open carry. We have permitless carry, but I'm for open carry, and I look at it from the aspect of if everybody knows it's a level playing field, that'll stop the robberies. That'll stop the people from doing things. And we see that in areas where they already have open carry. In fact, there's only 5 states in the country that don't have some form of open carry. And you see that crime rate adjust because now those that are thinking about ripping somebody off, they have to think again because they know that person's armed and they can see it.
It's a bizarre time we're living in. I just heard a story yesterday. I'll paraphrase, but in France, they had a big massacre inside a music venue semi-recently. And inside that music venue were several, amongst the thousands of people that were watching the show, were several off-duty French policemen. But France made an ordinance that off-duty policemen can't carry their sidearms when they're off duty. So now you got a guy carrying out a massacre. You would have several trained law enforcement guys in plain clothes who had a weapon, except for they said you can't bring a weapon anymore when you're off duty, and thus the body count goes up. I'm not sure why people can't understand these concepts.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, like in our agency, you're mandated to always have your gun with you, whether you're off duty or not. We want our deputies to be able to respond instantly, whether they're at the movie theater or they're on duty. We want them to be able to intercede any type of incident that's taking place. Look, you and I come at things from common sense and logic. The people that are saying, you know, get rid of all the guns, people are saying this, don't understand what it really takes to protect a society. It is hard work. It is scary stuff. But at the end of it, our deputies, our law enforcement officers have a job out there to protect, and that's what they need to be unhandcuffed and allowed to do. I'm telling you, I'm here in Florida and specifically in Brevard County. I tell our deputies, come to work and have fun, put bad people in jail, and do it more professionally than anybody else. I want them to put bad people in jail. That's what our citizens need. That's what makes people want to move here. Our crime rate's down 52%. Our population's up, I think, almost 18%, but our crime rate's down 52% because we don't play. We're tough on crime, and we're even tougher on criminals. When they get out to our jail, they're going to eat the worst food that I'm allowed to serve them, and they are going to not have TV. They're going to pay the price for being in that jail.
Do you guys find that you're having officers come over from other places, Portland and Seattle and Los Angeles, San Francisco, you know, these blue cities with these progressive DAs and progressive city councils that are, as you say, putting the handcuffs on these guys, and they want to go to a place where they can actually carry out their training and do their job?
Absolutely. We get recruits from all over the country coming to our sheriff's office. We have a pretty good Facebook presence. Brevard County Sheriff's Official is our Facebook page. And we have a good presence, so a lot of law enforcement officers from other areas see how much our community loves us. That's the number one thing. The community in Brevard County loves its law enforcement officers. In fact, I tell everybody they love us, trust us, and protect us just as much as we love, trust, and protect them. The second thing is they see that they have a sheriff that expects them to put bad people in jail, expects them to go after them and chase them or do whatever we got to do to lock them up. And then they want to come to a place where they can get the cases prosecuted. They want to come to a place where once they do their job, they see the end of it. And so we're getting them from New York, from like you said, Seattle, everywhere else that come join our agency and want to be a part of something on the positive.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine the frustration level of being a New York police officer and going through all the trials and the tribulations and the danger of arresting guys just to see him out on the street. And then you hear about this guy's been arrested 34 times, and all this stuff. And that would just be the most demoralizing experience ever professionally.
It is. And, you said something at the very beginning about the DAs out in California. When people are looking at who they're putting in office, one of the most important places they need to start thinking about is when they're electing the state attorney or the district attorney. And that's why Soros focuses so much on those positions, because he wants to be able to weaken the criminal justice system. Between the state attorney and the judges, the sheriff can arrest people all day long. And unless you got a state attorney or a judge that's willing to lock them up and put them away, it's all for nothing. So they really need to look at those positions, because that's what can continue to hurt us.
When you do the Wheel of Fugitives, were you getting some opposition initially? Were there folks that said this was in poor taste, or you're turning this into a mockery? Were there folks that took issue with it?
Yeah, you're always going to have people that are not going to like what you're doing, and we got just those things. You said, turning it into a game show or whatever. And my response to them was, crime fighting is about engaging your community. And I always respond to those that say something negative by saying, but yet here you are, still looking at our Facebook page and seeing who's wanted. So overwhelmingly, though, the citizens love it. I mean, we have T-shirts and bumper stickers that say, "My child's never been on Wheel of Fugitive." We have another show we do called Fishing for Fugitives, where I go out, I got a fishing pole with handcuffs on it, and I show all the beautiful spots in Brevard County where you can go fishing. And I fish for fugitives, and when we get it, it's our catch of the day. So, we try and mix in a little bit of humor into a very serious subject. But our citizens also know when it's time to be ultra serious, we are that as well. But yeah, we get a little pushback on it. And again, we don't apologize. I tell people if you don't like what we do on our Facebook page, maybe you should go watch The View or something that might be more to your liking. So they usually go away right after that.
Well, let me give a plug to you. The website is brevardsheriff.com, if that's correct. I think it is.
Yes, sir.
And that's where we can see Fishing for Fugitives and Wheel of Fugitives as well, right?
You can see it on there. It's also, as I said, our Facebook page is Brevard County Sheriff's Office Official. And you can follow it. We got another show called Cooking Up Justice, where we go into our local restaurants, and they show me how to make their favorite dish. And while that's going in the oven, we cook up a little Brevard County justice by showing them a fugitive we want. So we have a little bit of fun here.
Yeah, listen, I'm all about it, and these things are effective, and it's not rocket science. It's pretty basic stuff. It's sad to me that so many people drifted away from what we knew worked and what always worked and what will work as well, and we have to reconstruct everything. People die in the process, and there's so much destruction and sort of meaningless heartache and destruction. And while we go back to what we know works and what we already did. It's sad, but I guess that's the process we're going to have to go through. And certainly I'm in LA, so that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah, we watch Adam. We had a fugitive that we found out was at a sober house out in LA, a place called Graceland Ranch. And we contacted law enforcement out there and asked them to go pick up this fugitive. He was wanted for trafficking in fentanyl, resisting arrest, all sorts of stuff. And literally on the Graceland Ranch, we saw him on TikTok, and the law enforcement out there went to Graceland Ranch and said, hey, we're not going to come in and get him. We don't want to get anybody mad. But if he wants to turn himself in, he can. And so they refused to go arrest a wanted fugitive for trafficking in fentanyl. So we got the U.S. Marshals to go get him and snatch his butt up. But just goes to show you the difference between people that are really doing law enforcement and trying to keep citizens safe and people that have guns and badges and claim to be law enforcement officers.
It's sad, but it'll be turned around, and it is turning around, especially with the help of people like you, Sheriff Wayne. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can check in from time to time with many of your new endeavors.
I enjoy it. I follow you all the time, and appreciate you having me on.
Sheriff Wayne Ivey, thank you very much, sir, and thanks for your service. All right. I'm going to be in Torrance at the end doing stand-up there. That'll be Saturday. Fun place. Rock'em sock'em. 2 shows, 6 and 8 o'clock. Always a good time over there. Then I'll be in San Luis Obispo at the Fremont Theater doing stand-up February 28th. And put that on hold here. Oh, man. Did that work? Monterey at the Golden State Theater doing stand-up March 1st. And then Napa at the Uptown Theater. That'll be March 2nd. Jamie Lissow has got the podcast, Afraid to Ask, wherever you find her podcast, live shows everywhere as well. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla. For Sheriff Wayne, Jamie Lissow, and Mayhem saying, Mahala.